Hey everybody, did you know you can go to colinmullen.com in order to get art and art prints? So why set up the website, colinmullen.com. So hey everybody, this week I'm working on this guy. I'm going to make him into a 3D model that you'll get to see by the end of this. Using Blender for this because it's free and it's nice. Really actually surprised about how easy it was once I realized what the sculpting tool in Blender does. If you're interested in trying it, use the sculpting tool. Start with spheres rather than cubes because spheres have more points. You need lots of little points. You can decimate the sphere in order to make it have even more points. Just put a bunch of them together, select them all, go into sculpting mode, go ham. It's a lot of fun, actually. Don't go too ham though, because like after you get too many polygons, depending on the quality of your computer, you might actually start seeing some slowdown and lag, and maybe it crashes. But as far as like, it's pretty straightforward to use, and it's a lot of fun. So new art tool just dropped for me. I mean, it's been around for literally decades, since I was a kid, I think. But anyway, let's talk about some of the things that I saw as comments on the last video that I feel like it can bring together into one solid idea here. So there's two comments that I want to read over. There's this first one from Tivon Lister, whose name I'm definitely not pronouncing right. They asked two questions. The first one was about landscapes, and I do need to actually go and do some stuff like how to control line weight, how to do landscapes, that kind of more fundamental stuff, but we're not covering that one today, and I apologize for that. But the second question they asked was if I have any tips on getting inspiration, and like you get to the canvas or to, and they say, I get like 90% there, but then I get stumped at the page. That is one of the two comments that I want to talk about. And the other one I want to talk about is from that two guy who talks about like, the last video was never mind, don't go to college for art. And they were talking about their experience in, art college, and how they kind of summarize their comment by saying, as for video ideas, I would very much like to hear your opinion about structure and goals, if you have any particular opinion on that matter. They kind of also mention this bit up here where they say, once the structure of art school is gone, the hard bit begins, figuring how to build your own structure, and even in the face of whatever life circumstances you've been dealt with. So that's a huge thing. Is first off, in order to have the time to do art, you have to actually have the time to do art. Like, it would very easily be, I could very easily go give up your day job and just do art all day. Yeah, just do that. Then you'd have time for art, and you'd have all these, you could just blah, blah, blah. That's not real, though. Theoretically, you spend like 8 hours a day asleep, 8 hours a day at work, and then 8 hours a day you have for whatever you want to do, which is like, the 888 thing that the labor union set up back in the day. But that's not real, because you spend some time in traffic, you spend some time going and getting groceries, you spend some time going and doing just stupid chores that don't matter. Like, you have to do them though, because otherwise your life falls apart, and maybe you have to stay a little bit late extra because your boss is evil. These things happen, and they get in the way of you actually doing art. So for me, I have to have the structure of having the patreon.com/RevScarecrow to force me to do art to some degree. And I know that sounds bad, but like, there's so many other things that I could be doing other than art that would not fulfill me, but would be a lot easier to do. Like video games or YouTube, or I could just go scroll on my phone and doom scroll for a bit. Like, I could do that instead of doing art. It's a lot easier to do, but it's a lot less life fulfilling. So by having that like metaphorical gun to the back of my head that forces me to do art, I can keep with that structure that I had in college. I have to have some structure in order to come down to the time where I can do art. Part of that structure is that when I'm out and about, when I'm doing things or I think of something, if I can, I'll write down those ideas. Or if I see something that's inspiring because of the way the light hits a thing, or like the color palette, or just like whatever about it that inspires me, I'll take a picture of it with my phone. And then when I get back to the page and I'm just like, I need to do art, I want to do art now, and the muse doesn't come to me because the muse isn't real, I go, okay, well, I can look through the things that inspired me throughout the week, the time that I didn't really have time to do art but wish I had time to do art, and I can go, oh, okay, that was cool, and this phrase was cool. Can I combine them? Can I make that a thing? Or if you can't figure out what to do with that, maybe I'll just go, okay, well, I really liked this vibe that this picture had. Can I give that vibe to a skull? Because the skulls are like my ongoing theme that I've got. And by doing that, I never can't do art. Like I think you should really do away with things that are not helpful to the structure. Like, I think that being confined to a canvas is good. The canvas is only so big, and because of that, it is a limitation. Limitations help focus me. You know, I think that a lot of people believe that there should be no limits to creativity, but I feel like having some sort of limits that focus you down, the canvas being the most obvious one, like a canvas size, but I feel like that focuses it like a lens rather than constricts me. To have something that goes, this is a good starting point, that is something to work with. There's a whole bunch of different methods that have been made up over the years, whether it's random phrases on cards. I believe Bowie did that for a while. Just going out and seeing nature, if you want to be more like Monet. Those are all cool things. But just by having that inspiration on like speed dial on my phone effectively, that whenever I need to think of something to do, I always have a catalog of ideas to grab from. That's so much more helpful than just trying to think up something on the spot. Because when you're trying to think up something on the spot, it's like, I should do art right now. And then there's just nothing to do there. Having structure helps me have inspiration, or at least have like a methodology to doing art. For me, it's a lot like doing science experiments. Would this look cool if it was in this color palette? Would this be good if the lighting was brighter or darker or whatever? By having those limitations, by having that structure, I can have an easier time of actually coming up with ideas. Because when the world's your oyster and you can do whatever you want, you could draw anything from abstract to realism to, whatever, you're gonna just be stumped and not know where to go. The structure of your life helps quite a bit, in my opinion. To some degree, making art is a lifestyle choice, not in the like everything is hippy dippy, we're wafting in the breeze, a plastic bag going wherever and all that jazz. No, I'm talking about like, I'm always trying to think a little bit about art, and so that way I can come back to it when I actually have the time to do art. Because, like I said, you don't have time to do art most of the time. So you want to make sure that the time you do have for it, you actually are spending well. And so you're spending your time thinking about art, and to do that, take those pictures, write down those phrases, and then when you need to be inspired, look back at the things that inspired you throughout the week when you didn't have time to do art, that you were like, I wish I had a moment to draw that, where you don't. And then when you do have the time again, you can use that inspiration when you need it. This is actually a really easy method to start doing. Just next time you're like, that's really cool, take a picture of it, write it down. And keep doing that, and then the next time you feel like you're stumped, go back and look at that stuff, and I swear it'll help you find something to do. Anyway, I need to thank those people on Patreon, because having that structure in my life does cause me to actually do art on the regular. So thank you to the people on patreon.com/RevScarecrow. You can go there and donate if you'd like. But the people at the $5 tier or more get access to the sub-only portion of the Discord. It's now opened up a little bit, so you can get access to it regardless. Slowly opening the doors on that one. So anyway, if you donate at the $5 tier or more, you get your name in the credits. And thank you so much. So thank you to the following people, starting with my mom and dad. I love you. Thank you, Wapfu. Thank you, Tofoundor. Thank you, Split. Thank you, Sophia Nope. Thank you, Skelecorgi. Thank you, Reverend Joe. Thank you, Pig Wrestler. Thank you, Mortis. Thank you, Michael Carr. Thank you, Micah. Thank you, Mario Pereira. Thank you, Makina Aran. Yep, definitely got that one wrong again. Thank you, Luna Ray. Thank you, Kayla Hollinger. Thank you, Katie Valent. Thank you, Josepher. Thank you, Gabriel Bennett. Thank you, Freak Wannabe. Thank you, Egg. Thank you, Count Cannoli. Thank you, Chiptune Glitch. Thank you, Bep. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Aggie Wag. And thank you, Ads! It's like 11 o'clock. They can deal with it. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Again, anything that like is helpful for you is going to be helpful for someone else. So if you have questions for me, put them in the comments. If you see a comment that you're like, yes, exactly, like it, so that way I know that other people are into that. And I'm going to try and get some more structural stuff like line weight and stuff at some point. I'm so sorry. But thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.